Hi everybody, it's Lasha from Royal Pushback Aftermath again. I can't sleep and I'm really enjoying this Matthew Perry book. So we left off where he had surgery and he was in a coma, and I left off tonight and I said, yes, that's right, a coma, ladies and gentlemen. And those motherfuckers back at the Sober Living had tried to block the car. The first thing that happened when I lapsed into a coma was that I aspirated into my breathing tube, vomiting 10 days worth of toxic shit. I remember this, directly into my lungs. My lungs didn't like that very much. And then he got pneumonia. It was almost certain that he was going to die, but I was lucky that my colon exploded. I read that already. Everyone was so wrought with emotion that some crumbled to the ground right there in the hospital lobby. I have to live out the rest of my days knowing that my mother and others heard those words. With me in surgery for at least 7 hours and convinced the hospital would do everything they could, my family and friends went home for the night for some rest while my subconscious fought for my life amid the knives and tubes and blood. So, that paragraph says a lot. Could you imagine having your intestines explode? And then he makes a joke that he's always been full of shit, but then he really was now. It's not funny. And the thing about humor is it's true things that are funny. But he has a way of not making you feel uncomfortable when he writes this book because it's so honest. Spoiler alert, I did make it through that night, but I wasn't out of the woods yet. My family and friends were told that oh yes, that's right, the ECMO at UCLA, they weren't willing to take me either for the same reason. Who can say? But at least they were willing to send an ECMO machine and a team. I was hooked up for several hours, and it seemed to work. I was then transferred to UCLA itself in an ambulance filled with doctors and nurses. There was no way I'd survive a 15-minute car ride, especially the way Aaron drives. At UCLA, I was taken to the heart and lung ICU. It would become my home for the next 6 weeks. I was still in a coma, but honestly, I probably loved it. I was lying down, all snuggled up, and they were pumping drugs into me. What's better than that? And this, what's better than that? Well, he also spoke in this book about reality being an acquired taste. And I'm starting to wonder, did his addiction start because of this issue? Because I when I tell you I know nothing about these people, the only people I know about are the tall guy, Ross. He was in that movie about the reporter, and Vera Farmiga was in it. And Matt Damon, he played the lawyer. He was very good. And that Canadian actor, Alan Alda, he played the lawyer. Excellent book. Excellent, I lost my train of thought. It's getting late. But I guess my point is that where the addiction came into play? Eventually, my eyes magically opened back to the memoir. The first thing, my mother. I read that part. And then with that information, I did what any comic actor might do. I rolled my eyes and went back to sleep, and that's where we left off. I just want to finish the last 2 pages. So tonight I'm going to read the view like I already shared, and then tomorrow I'll do a recap. I have been told that when someone is really sick, a kind of disconnect happens. A God only gives you what you can handle kind of thing kicks in. As for me, the acquired taste of reality would show how sensitive and damaged he is. You should watch a podcast on why stars pass away earlier than common people, and it's on Andrew Gold. Okay, so I refused to let anyone tell me exactly what had happened. He didn't want to know. He was afraid. It was his fault. He'd done it to himself. So instead of talking about it, I did one thing I felt I could do during the days in the hospital. I threw myself into family, spending hours with my beautiful sisters, Emily, Maria, and Madeline, who were funny, caring, and there. And he's Canadian, eh? At night, it was Aaron. I was never alone once again. Eventually, one day, Maria, the hub of the Perry family, my mom is the hub of the Morrison side, decided it was time for me to be told what had happened. There I was, attached to 50 wires like a robot, bedridden. As Maria filled me in, my very fears had been true. I had done this. This was my fault. I cried. Oh my God, I cried. I did this? Maria did her best to be wonderfully consoling, but there was no consoling this. I had all but killed myself. I had never been a partier, taking all of those drugs, and it was a lot of drugs. This is what he says. It's a lot of drugs. It was just a futile attempt to feel better, trust me. To take something to feel better is death's door, and yet here I was still alive. Why had I been spared? Well, I'll tell you why he was spared. Because he was on Friends, and he had money. Okay. I just can't believe the way the United States does their healthcare system is absolutely repulsive. It's repulsive. I remember listening 4 years ago to a Republican saying, why should I have to pay if somebody else is sick? That's not nice. Eventually one day, okay, so he was told, he cried, why? And everything got worse before it got better. Every morning, it seemed one doctor would come into my room and give me more bad news if something could go wrong. It did. I already had a colostomy bag. At least I'd been told it was reversible, thank God. But now apparently there was a fistula, a hole in one of my intestines. Problem was they couldn't find it to help. I was given another bag and oozed out gross green stuff, but that new bag meant that I was not allowed to eat or drink anything until they found it. They searched daily for that fistula. Well, I got thirstier and thirstier. I was literally begging for a Diet Coke and having dreams of being chased by a gigantic can of Sprite. After a full month, they finally found the fistula in some tube behind my colon. I don't know why I was going to my heart. Anyway, I thought, hey, fellas, if you're looking for a hole in my intestine, why not start looking behind the thing that fucking exploded? Oh my God, that's so fun. Shout out, Cobain. Hi, Cobain. Do you want me to write you on my mirror? You want me to write you on my mirror? Hang on, Cobain. Cobain! Cobain. Hi, Cobain. found my mirror. I'm going to hang the mirror on the wall. Here you are, look. I love this. I love it. I love it. It's tactical. Look, Colbin. There you go. This is my pride and joy. All of you are my pride and joy. I think Matthew Perry has gone through hell, eh? Complicated me. Please shout out to Cobain. Yes. Thank you. Oh, no, thank you. Aww. Aww, Cobain died of cancer. I'm very sorry. I don't Cobain, peace, and I put a little heart around you, okay? Oh, my battery's low. Shoot. What did I do? Uh-oh. Okay, so, I'm very sorry that Cobain passed away of cancer. You know, it's interesting that, I'm sorry, okay, I'm going to get back to Cobain and cancer. So it fucking exploded, blah, blah, blah. He knew he was on his way back and realized that I was attracted to the therapist they assigned to me. That's called transference. True, I had a giant scar on my stomach, but I never had a guy who took his shirt off much anyway. I'm no Matthew McConaughey. When I take a shower, I just make sure to keep my eyes closed. Aw. It sounds like he had a really low self-esteem. I don't know anything about his dating life, nothing. I hope this is in here. As I've said, for the entire stay at these hospitals, I never left alone. I was never left alone, not once. So there is light in the darkness. It's there. And speaking to Cobain, who passed away, was it your brother, your sister, a friend? As I've said, for the entire stay in those hospitals, I was never left alone, not once. 5 very long months, he was released. I was told that within the year, everything inside would be fine, heal, blah, 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 blah. And my overnight bags, 5 months of overnights. And we made the voyage home. Also, I'm Batman. Okay, Matthew. All right. So we're finally on chapter 1. I can't believe we had to go through all of this just to get to chapter 1. And I didn't skip a word. So I'm reading I'm viewing chapter 1. I'm reading it tonight. And then, here's some pictures. I didn't know this. Look at this. Luke Perry. Isn't that amazing? You know who I often think about? Hi, sweetheart. You know, when I think about this book, I have, when he said that Dilaudid was his favorite. Hi, my name is Mathew, but my friends call me Maddie and I should be dead. Very funny opening. Almost like a Okay, when I get into, I'm going to read The View, chapter 1 with Matthew Perry, but then I have to talk about the Sackler family. Opiate addiction, it's so serious. It's so fucking serious. People don't understand. Okay? Now, I am so sorry, Cobain. Now, I'm religious, and I happen to have, for your friend, this is called Portal of Prayers. This is totally impromptu. If you want me to do a reading for you, I can help. That's why I'm doing this. I want to read cards. So get subscribers, participants. I don't want to be 1 million people. That'd be wonderful, but I doubt that'll happen. I want a small, nice community, And I like people that have different opinions because I love to argue. There's no such thing as a debate. That's just politely arguing. This is for your friend, Cobain. So I'm just picking out a prayer. Okay, for some reason, here it is. This is what I picked, just by chance. Thursday, March the 14th, read Mathew 26, 17, 30, Possum 18, 1-6. Cleanse out the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you really are unleavened. For Christ, our Passover lamb, has been sacrificed. That's weird. The annual feast of unleavened bread harkens back to the time of the Passover in Egypt. In preparation for that night, God's people were commanded to entirely purge the heaven from their dwellings. Whoever failed to do so would be cut off from Israel. Does this have something to do with work ethic? In Scripture, leaven often symbolizes sin and evil. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. Corinthians 5.6. What we think is only a small or limited transgression can have a far-reaching and corrupting influence. Paul warns the church against tolerating such thing. The old heaven has been cleansed from us through the sacrifice of the Lamb of God. I don't know if I believe that, but I do believe in a higher power. There is a higher power. We are dusts in the wind. We live on this earth so short. Diana was 19, lived 17 years and passed. Cherry Denise is also reading Lady Colin Campbell's book about Diana, the true story. So Cherry Denise is my hero, and she's the reason I'm reading. Partaking of the bread of life, the holy body of Jesus, we are made new, forgiven, and freed from the pervasive leaven of sin. Jesus was cut off from Israel for us in his death, so we would be brought into the communion of the people of God. Jesus sounds to me like he was almost a cult leader. Sir, I don't know if this means anything to you about Cobain. He's on my board. There's a heart, and it says peace, and he's going to rest in peace. Okay? And thank you for your lovely compliments, and I'm glad. I hope you're enjoying the content. I really do. And I'd love you to join the channel. I also have a prize. This is going to be really silly, okay? The person who is the 1,000th subscriber, send me a P.O. box number and I'm sending you a present, but I'm not telling you what it is, but I bought it. I got it. So the 1,000th person gets a treat. And everybody else gets free cards. Come on, I need to read cards. Okay. You know what? I'm sorry about your friend, but you made my night. And I tell me about Cobain. I'd like to know about your friend. I love to talk about people that have lived on this earth because everybody has a story to tell. And the reason I do a lot of footage, to be honest with you, is home movies. I just want memories, and I find that YouTube helps me with timelines. It's helped me recover. Again, you've got to go to change.org to understand why I started the channel. And the reason that I wanted to read this book so badly is because I've experienced similar situations, but not to this degree. I was violated in a surgery by a doctor who didn't keep his oath, meaning do no harm to patients. And he just let me rot in a wheelchair and didn't tell me my femur and my knee was broken. He basically used my leg like a phone. He just passed the buck. It was terrible, terrible. So I find when people go through a lot of pain, they seem to be more empathic, understanding, but I can't stand victimhood. I don't like that. I felt like a victim for so long, and I was so angry. It was crazy. I was crazy angry, like just infuriated by the injustice. But did what happened to Mathew Perry, was that justice? Fighting a disease, I'll use an analogy. I heard this from a family member. Mental illness or not feeling grounded is like walking on marshmallows. People can't see what's wrong with you because you look okay. People don't know that I am in agony every day because that's what the doctor did to me. I broke my femur and he broke my knee. I was in a wheelchair for a year. My leg was straight like this for 3, and I can bend it down to here. And I've got holes in my knee. The only thing that honestly gives me relief is marijuana and dancing. If I don't move my knees, they'll stiffen right up, like right up. And this happened when I was 46. Like, that doctor took away. I wanted to have a family. Like, whoa, it didn't have to happen. That's what's so frustrating. We all have stories. I want to hear about your friend, and God bless you. I always say, take care of yourself, and I'll do the same. Okay? Everybody take care.